to the anger economy. Some people are addicted to outrage, the way others are addicted to caffeine. They thrive on fury. And if they weren't mad about idols, they'd be mad about oat milk. In K pop fandom spaces, this tendency gets amplified by a cultural backdrop where criticism isn't just accepted, it's practically baked into society. K pop was born in South Korea, a country deeply influenced by post Confucian values that emphasize moral correctness, communal responsibility, and public order. There's a belief that it's everyone's job to keep everyone else in check, and that spills into everything, including fandoms. But when the sense of duty meets the internet, it often mutates into moral posturing and judgment Olympics. Conspiracy by proxy: why people need enemies to feel important. Twitter, Facebook, and other social media platforms will never admit it, but anger is the backbone of their business model. Conspiracy and contempt are algorithmic turbo boosters. These platforms aren't optimized for the truth or for education or for the facts. They are optimized for emotional engagement. And what outperforms everything else? Posts that whisper, "they're hiding something from you," followed by, "and they think you're too dumb to notice." That combo, conspiracy and anger, is irresistible. I've seen it play out again and again in psych studies and content analysis. The formula is simple: outrage equals attention equals money. But here's the twist no one talks about. Most people aren't actually important enough to be the center of a real conspiracy. And deep down, they know it. So, what's the next big thing? They attach themselves to someone who is important enough to be hated. Suddenly, every criticism of them becomes a threat to you. Every disagreement feels like persecution. You're not just a fan or a supporter, you're a defender of justice. Their enemies become yours, and that borrowed conflict gives you a borrowed significance. It's a subtle psychological sleight of hand. The algorithms don't need you to be a thought leader. They just need you to be emotionally invested. And nothing gets people more invested than the illusion that they're part of a noble resistance. Neurologically, conspiracy thinking activates our ancient predator detection system. You feel alert, awake, alive. Anger or rage, meanwhile, gives you a shortcut to status. You don't need credentials to mock an expert. You don't need power to dunk on an institution. In 5 seconds, you feel smarter than a scientist and braver than a politician without having done anything at all. This content doesn't just go viral, it multiplies. It tricks you into thinking you're seeing the truth when you're really just consuming the most clickable delusion. And worst of all, it feels like independence, but it's engineered dependence. It feels like insight, but it's manipulation in disguise. Trolls turn into influencers. Here's where it gets messier. Social media doesn't reward accuracy, kindness, or truth. It rewards engagement. It doesn't matter why you're replying, quote tweeting, or stitching someone's post. It only matters that you are. The algorithm sees no difference between a clap back and a cosign. Every comment, like, retweet, or stitch boosts the reach of the original post, even if your intent was to shut it down. That's how faceless trolls become influencers. That's how lies travel faster than corrections. And that's how celebrities, including BTS, can be defamed over and over again by anonymous keyboard warriors who'll never have to face the consequences. Worse, the law offers public figures less protection. Legally, they're expected to tolerate more abuse, more invasions of privacy, and more attacks on their character, all because they're famous. Even when false accusations are debunked, the damage is often irreversible. Careers are derailed, reputations are ruined, And part of what empowers these faceless haters are the well meaning fans who engage with them, thinking they're defending someone when in reality, they're just giving the trolls the very thing they crave: attention. So if you're exhausted, it's not from being an army, it's from helping the algorithm make your enemy trend. The need to feel important and why it's ruining your timeline. Enter psychology. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, once you've got food, water, and Wi Fi, your next big craving is esteem, respect, recognition, and the feeling that you matter. Dale Carnegie knew this too. In How to Win Friends and Influence People, he wrote that the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. So, how do you get that feeling quickly? For some, it's by going viral, for calling someone out. Virtue signaling isn't always about values. It's often just a shortcut to relevance. And idols, especially global ones like BTS, are convenient targets. They're polished, curated, and ever present. We see their faces everywhere but don't know them personally, making it easier to dehumanize them. They become symbols, not people, like dolls you're allowed to throw around. Fantasy versus reality, when the fantasy matters more than the music. Some fans aren't fans of music, they're fans of the idea, the fantasy of perfection, the parasocial relationship, that curated dream they project onto these artists. And anything that threatens that fantasy, they don't just reject it, they attack it. Here's what's really going on. For some individuals, especially those who struggle with social isolation, low self esteem, or unresolved trauma, parasocial relationships offer emotional safety without risks. In the real world, relationships come with uncertainty, rejection, and of course, responsibility. But in a parasocial connection, like the one between a fan and an idol, there's no danger of abandonment. No messy back and forth. The idol is always there, always kind, always aesthetically composed, always grateful. It's a one sided relationship where the fan feels loved, understood, and valued without having to reciprocate anything emotionally. This dynamic can be soothing, especially for people who feel unseen or unimportant in their offline lives. The idol becomes a surrogate for emotional support, self worth, and even identity. Their success becomes your success, their pain, your catharsis, their perfection, your armor against a world that's anything but. But there's a dark side to this. When people begin projecting their unmet needs onto celebrities, they start idealizing them, not as humans, but as flawless fantasy constructs. And when reality inevitably creeps in, when an idol shows vulnerability, makes a mistake, dates someone, or simply grows up, that illusion fractures. The fantasy wobbles. And for someone who's been emotionally invested not in the music, but in maintaining the illusion, that feels like betrayal. So they fight, not to protect the artist, but to protect their own emotional scaffolding. The music at that point isn't what they're defending, it's the structure they've built around it. Their imaginary emotional home, their projected validation. That's why their arguments sound irrational. That's why criticism feels like a personal attack. Because in their mind, it is. And what do they get from all this? It's really psychological. They get to feel important. They get to feel in control. They get to feel like they're part of something meaningful. When they police other fans, they feel morally superior. When they protect the idol, they feel like the hero of their own narrative. Even when they're caught in delusion, they feel alive, useful, central. That's powerful reinforcement. But it's not fandom. It's emotional role play with a soundtrack. This isn't to pathologize every passionate fan. Parasocial relationships are common and often harmless. But when they replace real connection, distort perception, or drive obsessive behavior, they stop being comforting and start becoming dangerous. True fandom does not require fantasy, it requires respect for the music, for the artist, and yes, for yourself. BTS is about music, and that's making it easier. Being an army doesn't have to be hard, not when the music is this rich. BTS doesn't just churn out catchy tunes, they create art with literacy depth and emotional intelligence. Their lyrics reference Hermann Hesse's Damien, Carl Jung's psychological frameworks, and their own raw life experiences. With nearly 200 original group songs, not even counting solo projects, you could spend a lifetime decoding their discography. That's not exhausting, that's exhilarating. The awards, records, and global accolades, those are side effects. The real reward is the way the music meets you where you are and challenges you to grow. BTS is an easy target because they're that big. Popularity is a double edged sword. The more eyes on you, the more people want to take you down. That's just how it works. Some people feel powerful only when they can knock something or someone off a pedestal. The bigger the name, the bigger the splash. If you're chasing clout, hating on BTS is practically SEO diamond. Stop blaming social media. Start using it better. Social media isn't the villain, it's just a tool. It's neutral, like microwave. It'll cook your meal or burn your house down depending on how you use it. You can tailor your timeline, block, mute, dislike, unfollow. Algorithms follow behavior, not emotions. If your feed is full of rage, that's not social media's fault. That's your engagement history screaming back at you. Correcting misinformation doesn't mean engaging haters. It's understandable that armies want to correct lies about BTS, but here's the kicker: people who spread lies don't care about the truth. You're not going to get them to say, you know what, you're right, I stand corrected. That's not their goal. Their goal is you, your anger, your energy, your time. The smarter move: amplify your voice, share truth, support other fans doing the same. Don't hand your power over by giving attention to people who don't deserve it. If being a fan feels draining, it's probably because you've gotten so distracted. The point isn't to win every debate or to police everyone's behavior or opinion. The point is music. It's BTS's kindness, growth, self awareness, and connection. That should be front and center. Supporting BTS should motivate you to become a better person. If it's not doing that, then maybe take a step back and reassess if it's fandom you're a part of or a feedback loop drama. Being an army isn't supposed to feel like a burden, it's supposed to feel like belonging, like understanding, like joy. If you ended up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification button, and share the video. If you can, please paste it on your social media, send it to friends, and I hope that you keep on coming back. Also, please follow me on X and on Instagram and also on Patreon. We have a vibrant community. We discuss a lot of things. We're soon to have a book club, and also, if you have a difficult opinion or an unpopular opinion, or you have a controversial question to ask, you're free to do it there for as long as you are respectful. You should be good. Okay, thank you. See you around.